Welcome to the Adhocracy Show, the show for people who know that Disney is in the details.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm David Landeen.
And I'm JD Melville.
Last time, if you watched the last episode, at the end it said that we were going to do an episode about design cliches. That got pushed a week because something happened.
Yeah, something did happen indeed. Now, this last Sunday, not the Sunday that you're watching this, but the Sunday before, Disney came out.
Watching this on Monday.
On Monday? Yeah.
Anyway.
Two Sundays ago, Disney came out with a show. It was a 60th anniversary of Disneyland celebration. You may have seen it. It was beautiful. But it was also a conspiracy. There was just this clever weaving of a tapestry of intricate details of parks, of movies, of advertisements.
It was the 60th anniversary celebration of the opening of Disneyland. That was it. It was very good production, lots of stars and guests and everything, but really that's where it ends, is Disney celebrating themselves. They used some pop culture stuff to liven it up and get the young people involved. And the end.
You might have thought so. You might have thought so. But I will take you through and I will prove to you that this was just all a strategic advertisement for future, for past, for merchandise, for parks, for everything. Yes, they celebrated, but they celebrated strategically.
All right. Well, okay. So what's your first evidence?
First, let's talk about these pop culture, these stars, these people.
Yeah.
Some of them seem completely unconnected, correct?
Yeah, I mean, they had, most of them were just, I felt they were just very randomly chosen. I mean, some of them were pretty obvious, I guess, that they've been Disney, but for the most part, for instance, let's see, they had Neil Patrick Harris. Neil Patrick Harris, How I Met Your Mother, Dr. Horrible Sing-Along Blog, Doogie Howser. I mean, he's not connected to Disney really at all that I can think of.
I will tell you that Doogie Howser was an ABC show, but that was before Disney, right?
Oh, okay.
Neil Patrick Harris. He is the new voice for the start of Screaming, California Screamin', the roller coaster ride.
All right.
To even go a little bit further, he did a voice on Phineas and Ferb, a Disney show. As well, he was in the Muppets movie.
Okay, that's
first,
true. He was
first
in the
new
Muppets movie. Yeah.
And really to connect in California Adventure, you have California Screamin'. There's actually a little section right next to near the boardwalk where they celebrate Phineas and Ferb. That's interesting.
Okay, but I mean, let's see. They also had, Helen Mirren. I mean, we just covered that she was in a Budweiser commercial.
Yeah, she was. She did a very good job.
Yeah. So, not really connected there.
She was in National Treasure, a Disney movie. As well, she was a voice in Monsters University.
Oh, she was?
She was, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. All right, I guess that's Disney. All right, Jimmy Kimmel, he's on
ABC.
Okay.
He's an ABC show. And there is an interesting conspiracy or an interesting plight with ABC and some stuff that he showed on his show, but we can talk about that later.
All right, Elton John. Elton John, you would not look at Elton John and say, oh, he's Disney.
Obviously he did the music for Lion King. Right?
Okay, that is true.
The Circle of Life. He was on the old Muppets, granted a lot of that before.
That's right, he did Crocodile Rock.
Yes. He was the inspiration for Dr. Tooth. he was a big, and actually in the new Disney show, the new Muppet show, Dr. Tooth talks about how he owes Dr. John a great deal of admiration and things like that. Right. He also helped produce the music for Disney-owned Aida.
Oh, Disney owns Aida.
They own Aida.
Oh,
as well as the stage play of The Lion King.
Yeah, that's true. They do own the stage play of Lion King.
He was also little, maybe you may not have seen it, but he was also in the Country Bears.
I didn't see that.
I did not see it either.
All right. I guess they had Kermit. He was one of the presenters. And,
yes.
he's owned by Disney, I guess.
Yes. I do want to point out that Kermit, he did throw a shout out to a ride in the park, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. He said, I got to know the park because of all those wild rides with Mr. Toad.
Shameless. All right. What about... All right, Nolan Gould and Eric Stone Street, Modern Family.
Modern Family.
Again, like...
They presented an ABC show.
ABC. Kerry Washington... Oh, ABC. Yeah, Kerry
ABC
Washington
Scandal.
Yeah. Which is kind of okay. Kristen Bell...
That one's pretty straightforward. Yeah. Frozen, Anna, right?
Yep.
Here's kind of a longer shot. Have you ever heard of Studio Ghibli?
No.
It's an anime group. Basically, they make a bunch of movies. They did Spirited Away.
That's right. Okay.
All right. Okay. She did a voice in that. That is Studio Ghibli is exclusively distributed within the U.S. by Disney. Kristen Bell also is doing a voice on the upcoming show Zootopia.
All right. Alfonso Ribeiro.
He, of course, is on Dancing with the Stars, ABC show. He's now the new host of America's Funniest Videos.
Is that
an ABC show.
All right.
They did mention that.
Wait, what about Jason Bateman? Jason Bateman has no connection with Disney. I mean, he's done a lot out there, but I don't think anything on ABC. I don't think anything Disney.
Here's the future aspect of this. He is in Zootopia. He is the voice of the fox.
Oh.
And he mentioned how he is now part of the Disney family. That sounds very mobbish. And funny enough that the clip that they showed when they were talking about that was sort of a Godfather kind of look. They had the little mouse and he's like, "Oh, you disrespect me on the day of my daughter's wedding." Modern Family. He says Disney family, and then they show the family as
a mob type.
That's interesting, isn't it? Isn't it?
Maybe a little reaching a little bit on that.
Okay.
Let's see. All right, Kiefer Sutherland. I know for a fact that Disney has zero connection to 24, his most famous, and I doubt they have any connection to any of his 80s movies that he did. Kiefer Sutherland is the outlier. Zero connection.
Did you ever see The Three Musketeers?
Oh, yeah.
He was also in The Wild, and he is now going to be in ABC's, I think it's called Designated Survivor.
That's coming up?
Yeah. A new ABC show.
He's joined the family.
He is joining the family as it comes.
Okay, so I know, so they had a lot of music on there.
Okay.
And so if they really wanted to do their, advertising, then they would have had, I felt like they would have had showing clips from the movie, but they used very popular stars.
They used Jessie J, they used Neo, they used Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, which I don't think that any of them have done, songs for Disney movies or anything like that.
Let me just stop you there. Disney this last year in December came out with a CD called We Love Disney. And I'm going to ask you, who do you think was on that CD? Who made the covers of that? Jessie J, Neo singing the Genie song. You've got all of these different people singing covers of these different shows. Let's get into one that's a little bit more that has a little bit more levels to it. So you've got people singing songs. Here's a CD. They didn't mention the CD, but if you were to search Fall Out Boy, I Want to Be Like You, that CD is going to come up. It will. It was a fun cover. But Kelsey Ballerini, you may have heard of her. You may have heard her songs. Maybe you haven't heard her name.
I wouldn't recognize her name.
She sang Part of Your World.
Okay.
She has officially been named as Radio Disney's NBT program Next Big Thing.
Number one, I didn't know Radio Disney was still around. And you're telling me, or you're trying to contrive this conspiracy that they are now promoting, it's like the Disney hierarchy where you have now been raised and this is your introduction to society, your coming out party of sorts.
There are a lot of people who have gone through the Disney clubs, the different Disney Channel shows that are now stars today. They're connected in one way or another.
Or strippers.
I do have to point out that they had someone named Little Big Town singing Steve McQueen in Cars Land. there are so many like weaves there, like Little Big Town, Radiator Springs, Steve McQueen, Lightning McQueen. It was all very cleverly planned.
All right. So we've covered presenters and musical guests.
Did you, by the way, see? You may have seen a clip of it, but you had Derek Hugh, who was on Dancing with the Stars, ABC show, do Step in Time from Mary Poppins, and you had a very limber, surprisingly limber, Dick Van Dyke surprise the crowd.
That I did see. It's been going crazy on Facebook.
People went nuts.
All right, so I will give Disney props for bringing back and keeping true to their old, not to offend, he's 90, but not old, but former frontrunner stars type of people. I mean, that was a very classy move to bring him back, because they could have easily just done that without him. But I mean, you would not think he's 90.
And that little stepping move, holy!
Oh my word!
That was delightful.
It really was. They did a great job.
Well, and if you notice, one of the things that they did is all of these performances, all of these different things happened in very strategic places. A lot of it was happening at the Disney Symphony Hall. You had Elton John singing Circle of Life and the other songs in front of the Disney Castle. You had Pentatonics singing on Main Street Disney.
Pentatonics, not connected with Disney.
There are some strands there that I have found. They did cover a song that is on the Fantasia video game that is on Xbox One, and the Motion Connect capture thing where you can like dance in it, and it plays the different songs and things like that.
All right.
There are some things there.
I guess they probably have done some covers of Disney songs on their YouTube channel.
Yep. Another one, Idina Menzel. She came out saying,
of course,
"Let It Go," of course, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't do a Disney.
She sang it in California Adventure in front of the Ferris wheel and the World of Color.
Okay.
The World of Color, they also have a Frozen version of that show that you can see in place of the normal World of Color. And so here she is singing in front of World of Color, singing "Let It Go," a Frozen. I'm convincing you, aren't I?
You make some decent points.
Okay.
But here's the thing. They had commercial breaks. If they were only trying to self-promote themselves, why did they allow other advertisers to come in and do their own commercials throughout?
There were other commercials, but did you also see those commercials? I mean, they showed ABC shows previews. They showed movie previews. They showed another Jungle Book trailer. They showed a trailer for Alice looking through the Looking Glass. And then throughout the show, they actually showed Zootopia, a new clip for Zootopia, as well as Pete's Dragon. So they did have other people advertising, but they also had some advertising for themselves.
All right. I don't know. I guess they did some stuff with Josh Gad. He took you on a tour, which most of the places that he showed you, I mean, like there were certain places that I couldn't go. Like the VIP suite, probably will never be able to spend, time there. And so if they were like, hey, it was not like they were saying, hey, pay us this much and you can stay in this suite. Like, but I didn't really see the point if they're only trying to self-promote themselves and get money.
Okay, so here's something. Disney has written this. The people behind this, they're strategically writing these things for a very specific purpose. Now, when you go to the park, again, you've been there. How many times have you been to Disneyland?
3 or 4.
Okay, you've been there 3 or 4 times. You know what you want to see. There may be some things you don't know about. When you go to Main Street Disney, where are you going to look first? Now that you have seen the Josh Gad section,
The light.
The light above, Walt's light, where he had it on, and people would know that he was there looking over the park, making sure that they were good. When you go to Pirates of the Caribbean, you see that big D and the staircase and the VIP suite above there. What are you going to be doing?
Looking at it.
You're going to be looking at it. You want to sneak a peek.
I'll probably even make it specifically I mean, I could see people going specifically there to see that section because they've never noticed it before.
Yeah, you know, you're gonna try and sneak a peek up there and see the painting that changes color and the hidden Mickeys in there. What about when you go through Adventureland and you're walking by the tiki room? What are you going to get?
A Dole Whip.
A Dole Whip. Interesting. So you know, a lot of that, I think it was really strategic in what they were doing. They were really trying to point out, okay, you've been here before. Here are some secrets. Here's the bench that Walt actually dreamt this whole thing up on. Those kind of things. They were pointing all of these things out. The submarine fleet, that they have the 5th largest submarine fleet next to, I think it was Sweden. All of the people that clean up the park and make it nice. These are people that you're now going to pay attention to.
All right. I see how you could contrive something like this, but it just still feels like...
Let me just convince you here. Let me break your brain.
Okay.
This is the section that really... I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, who's going to watch a 2-hour advertisement for any company out there, right?
Yeah.
Are there any other companies out there that you would watch a 2-hour advertisement? Not a movie, but an ad saying, hey, go to Disneyland. Hey, would you watch it for, you know, Universal?
No. I mean,
possibly.
Maybe documentary or something like that.
Maybe. They're more of a film studio. There's not as much endearing things. You know, they have connections, of course they do.
They don't have the nostalgia. They don't have the... Yeah.
So as I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, this is funny. This is kind of like an ad. Yeah, they're celebrating. But the section that killed me, the section that broke my brain, they had Eric Streetstone and, what was his name? I always forget it. Nolan Gould. They did their section on Modern Family. They said, here is the Modern Family's tips for first-timers. And I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, this is an ABC produced show. They have written a script for these people to go and say these things about what you should do in Disney, right?
Yeah.
So they go through and they give tips like, for example, get there early so that you can go on all your favorite rides.
But you get that on every list that you look at on the internet. You look at, I mean, number one, get there early. I mean, that's always the number one thing that people say. So, I mean, no conspiracy there.
But why do they tell you to go early? What would you be able to do if you go early?
Buy more stuff.
You'd also be able to go on the rides that you want to you absolutely want to go on.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's customer satisfaction. I got to ride on Cars Land that usually has like an hour and a half, 2-hour wait. Their second tip, they said, you've got to hit all the original rides.
Okay.
As a newcomer, why would you have to hit the original rides?
Oh, I mean, like, that's not your first thought. Like, the ones that you really think of when you think of Disneyland, and maybe this is just me, but I don't always think of, like, the original rides. I think of the newer rides. I want to hit Cars Land. I want to hit like, the big ones, Tower of Terror, California Adventure, all these things that are over there. It's not necessarily get there, immediately go to all the original rides, because...
Yeah, so you know, why would they be saying that? Well, maybe to disperse some of the crowds, get more people going to those rides, either to reinvigorate them, to help kind of soften the lines at some of the bigger rides.
So you're saying this is basically just one big strategy for improving the overall experience at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Told to you by people who work for Disney during an event produced by Disney, distributed on a Disney channel.
You're beginning to see this. See, they also talked about, okay, look for all the hidden Mickeys. They actually put some hidden Mickeys in the shots that they were shooting. Of course, you know, paying attention to all the beautiful things that they have around, all the beautiful details, and to be looking at little Disney things.
I'm starting to think I want to be part of the Disney family.
I really want to be part of the Disney family. We will be part of your family, Disney.
Help us. Let us help you.
Help us help you.
Yeah.
By putting us up in the VIP Dream Suite.
Yeah. We'll do an episode from there.
That is perfect. We will do an episode we will help you and do an episode in the Disney Dream Suite.
Viewers, help us get there. All right, what's up? What's next?
One of the other things they said is ride nights. The rides are better at night, so be a night owl. make sure you go. And it is beautiful. After all of the parades, after all of the shows, people leave the park, and you can get to a lot of the rides that you want to. And some of the rides are just beautiful that you get to ride. So really, this helping.
But you're trying to say that it's trying to get people to stay in Disneyland longer. So because after the show, like you've been in that line saving your spot forever so you can get the best seats for that show, and then instead of immediately running out, hey, stick around a little bit longer. Maybe have some dinner. Maybe buy a Dole Whip.
That's what we did. We were actually there just right after Thanksgiving, and we hit the parades earlier because they have this on the weekends and things like that. They hit the parades twice, so we hit the earlier one, and everyone is at the Paint the Light parade. You can get on all the rides like no problem at all.
Oh, when I was in Disney World, it was during Christmas, and I rode Splash Mountain 10 times in a row without getting off. And Santa waved to me while I was on Splash Mountain.
Oh, nice.
I know.
Yeah.
It was really cool. All right.
Well, and here was another thing. They also announced Star Wars Land.
Oh.
That's coming up. Harrison Ford pointed to Star Wars Land and how great that's going to be. Disney does so well going into a land and being there. When you go into Toontown, you are in a cartoon. You don't see mountains, you don't see trees. Everything is a cartoon. When you walk into Radiator Springs, you are in there. So it's going to be so cool to walk into.
Really will.
Oh, he talked about having food, talking with the locals, like being in a cantina and seeing all the interesting characters. That was cool.
Yeah. All right.
They also brought out a BB-8 droid.
Oh.
He came out and
there you
people
go.
were excited.
That's like the new Dick Van Dyke.
They did the Star Wars concert and live with movie clips, which is a really cool way to see a symphony. I did that with a Pixar one here locally.
That would be really cool.
Really cool way. They also showed the opening of coming up the Shanghai Disneyland, Disney World Resort, and all the cool things. They are going to have the Tron Light Cycle Power Run in there.
They're doing like on the motorcycle, and that's
I have a new bucket list item in my life. I will be going to Shanghai at some point just to ride that ride. I will be there.
Once we're part of the Disney family, it won't be too hard.
Yeah, that's true. And the last thing that I want to cover that was really interesting for me, and I love it, and I wanted to cover it last because it was the charity benefit. They have been partnered with Make-A-Wish Foundation for like 35 years, I believe it is, and bringing kids to it. And so they put forth this campaign called Share Your Ears. Basically what you do, you put on some of those Mickey ears, Mickey, Minnie, whatever the ears are. Take a picture, put it on social media, any of the different forms of social media, hashtag Share Your Ears. They will donate $5 up to $1 million to the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Okay, but so you don't even have to donate anything.
Oh no,
you don't even have to like pay or like this is like almost better than Ice Bucket Challenge because basically all you have to do is advertise for Disney and they'll pay $5 to charity.
You're starting to see the light, aren't you?
I don't know if I'm ready to say conspiracy quite yet, but I will say amazing marketing.
It was done very well. Now, go ahead down below and comment if there's anything that you saw, any connections or anything that you liked about that special, anything that was connected to Disney, to their shows, to their old movies, to their new movies, to their merchandising, any of that stuff. Comment down below if you found something. I would like to dig deeper.
Yeah. Or do you think this is really a conspiracy, or does somebody have a little too much time on their hands? Also, we appreciate you liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. We are so close to being able to do something really cool on this channel. We just need a few more subscribers, so share this with everybody who likes Disney and, or doesn't.
Absolutely. Yeah, go over to Twitter, to Instagram, Facebook. Comment and subscribe to all of our different channels so that we can communicate with you. We really appreciate it. For our made-up fact of the day, it's not really made up because it's true. Disney actually has figured out how to extract happiness into a liquid form, which they then pump out throughout the parks. They put into the food, they put into their merchandise, they put into all of the different things that you can buy.
JD, I think you need a nap.